Clan Wolverine. The Truth. One of the original 20 clans, Clan Wolverine was annihilated in the years after Operation Klondike, officially for having detonated nuclear devices to destroy a genetic repository of Clan Snow Raven, and for opposing Nicholas Kerensky and the clans as a whole. The true story, however, runs entirely different, but it isn't known within the main Battletech universe. The clans subsequently went to great lengths to purge Wolverine from their history. They refer to the former Clan Wolverine only as the not-named clan. Instead of naming the 2C style evolution of the Wolverine battlemech, the Wolverine 2C, it was renamed the Conjurer, or as it's known in the Innisphere, the Hellhound. More than 200 years after Clan Wolverine's annihilation, the mere comparison of a clan warrior to an animal identified as a Wolverine in a completely unrelated situation, and by a person who may not be accustomed to clan society, was still considered a shocking insult that may elicit a violent response. Totem. Clan Wolverine's namesake comes from the Terran wolverine, a small predatory mammal which was genetically engineered for the harsh conditions in Stranomectes tundra regions. On Stranomecte, the wolverines grew in size and ferocity, and were capable of taking down any animal many times its size. The wolverine was noted for its unwillingness to back down from any challenge, a trait that Clan Wolverine's warriors eagerly adopted. History. Operation Klondike. Together with Clan Snow Raven, Clan Wolverine was assigned to Northern Cersei, with both clans fighting together to defeat the Sand Confederacy before starting to operate independently. While the Ravens fought the Empire of Hidalgo, the Wolverines had several bloody clashes with a martial society called Rasmussen Elite, thug-like gangs of warriors with skills that matched the skill of the early clan warriors, but with a lower quality of equipment and a fractured organisation. Because the Rasmussen Elite warriors' prowess, Khan Sarah McEvedy ordered coordinated tactics in contrast to the one-on-one engagements preferred by Nicholas Kerensky, who later outlined these preferences into the rules of Zellbringen. In this, the Wolverine behaviour was close to the SLDF Total Warfare tactics. After the Rasmussen Elite were annihilated, Clan Wolverine and Snow Raven fought together against the armed forces of Kerensky Dominion, when their previous ally turned enemy, after both clans used Kerensky Dominion warriors as cannon fodder instead of equal partners. The Battle of Bitter Tears, as the battle against Kerensky Dominion troops had been called, lasted 3 days, and left the Snow Raven ground forces in a somewhat ragged shape. Probably for this reason, Khan McEvedy saw herself the senior officer at the final Northern Cersei campaign, against the Davian-originated Isle of Eagles, a fact that would only add to the later discord between the two clans. Snow Raven ground forces suffered heavy losses in the campaign, even losing their Sarkhan in the fighting. The Snow Raven Khan even suspected that the Wolverines deliberately underrepresented the Isle of Eagle forces, souring relations between the two clans even more. Ascendant. In June 2822, Khan Sarah McEvedy was called to task by Ilkhan Kerensky for allowing her people the ability to migrate between castes, against his vision of clan society. McEvedy had allowed some shifting to the labourer caste to increase the food output of her clan, and Clan Widowmaker, who was spying on Wolverine without the Ilkhan's approval, discovered this and reported it to the Ilkhan. This would be the beginning of the Watch, the clan intelligence service. It was a multi-clan effort initially created to spy on Clan Wolverine, answerable only to the Ilkhan. The other clans began to step up military activity against the Wolverines, and when McEvedy discovered that the Ilkhan himself was spying on her clan, she tasked Star Colonel Franklin Hallis with developing a Wolverine intelligence service to ferret out the spies and perform counterintelligence. This would eventually rebound on her and be taken as further evidence of Clan Wolverine's disregard for clan ways. Further opposition began to solidify itself as the Wolverines completed development of several advanced mech designs, and improved ERPPC as an example. Clan Wolf, Jade Falcon, Smoke Jaguar, Coyote, and Ghost Bear began to be more belligerent in sessions of the Grand Council, and McEvedy quickly realised that her clan was being singled out as a dangerous threat to the balance of clan power. Fanning the Flames. In July 2823, a Brian cache was discovered in the Tiki province on Cersei. Though technically in Wolverine territory, Clan Jade Falcon attempted to win the cache in a trial of possession. They failed, but Jade Falcon Khan Lisa Bullihan brought the matter to the Grand Council in August 2823, issuing a formal protest. Due to the existence of nuclear weapons in the cache, the Ilkhan determined that it would be treated as a council matter, and the Wolverines were initially allowed to complete the inventory of the cache. When the inventory was complete and presented to the Ilkhan, he determined that no one clan should have possession of the entire cache, and that trials of possession would be necessary to fairly distribute the contents. McEvedy immediately requested a trial of refusal over this decision, which would be brought in October of 2823 and unfortunately lost by her and her Sar Khan, Dwight Robinson, who was killed in the battle. McEvedy then raised Star Colonel Franklin Hallis to the rank of Sar Khan, without a trial, another breach of clan tradition. She then began the planning of Operation Switchback, an audacious plan to secede from the authority of the Ilkhan and the Grand Council and return to the Inner Sphere. While McEvedy attended the Grand Council, Hallis headed to the Norfolk Boneyard to liberate warships from the mothballed Exodus fleet. Another Wolverine team performed a similar mission in the San Diego Boneyard. On October 8, 2823, McEvedy protested the results of the trial of refusal, claiming that the Grand Council was interfering in the internal affairs of Clan Wolverine. She then revealed the existence of the Watch and claimed that no fair trial was possible in the current climate, claiming correctly that as she was not tasked to contribute to the Watch, that it was meant to work against the Wolverines. Realizing that nothing she said or did would stop the inevitability of her clan's destruction, she repudiated the Ilkhan and left the council chamber. 2 days later, McEvedy was back in the chamber, this time with Sar Khan Hallis. Though he would not be recognized by the Ilkhan, as he didn't win his position in a trial, he was removed from the chamber. And as the council took up the Brian Cash matter again, McEvedy refused to take part, denouncing the Ilkhan's actions and refusing to give up the cash without a fight. As a last resort, McEvedy met privately with the Ilkhan the next day, 10th of October 2823, on board McKenna's Pride. While the Ilkhan complimented her on the strength of her clan, he expressed disappointment over the attempts to liberalise and change his vision. He made it clear that the Wolverines would be destroyed by the other clans as an object lesson. McEvedy made several offers to avoid this outcome, but the Ilkhan was adamant. The point of no return. McEvedy would return to the Grand Council a final time on October 11th, 2823, shortly after Wolverine forces defeated a multi-clan force at the Brian Cash site on Cersei. She attempted to sway the Grand Council by revealing the Ilkhan's plans, to no avail. She then renounced her position in council, announced her intention to secede from the clans, insulted the Ilkhan and the council, and threatened any who would attack the Wolverines. The Khan of Smoke Jaguar called for a trial of absorption as she left the chamber for the last time. Operation Switchback, Clan Wolverine's last hope, had begun. The Wolverines allowed any and all clan members to remain behind if they wished to do so, then performed scorched earth withdrawals from their enclaves on Lum and Cersei. Unbeknownst to Wolverine, Widowmaker operatives had stolen one of the nuclear devices from the Brian Cache and prepared it for detonation in their capital city of Great Hope. Khan Jason Karrige then activated the device when he, the Ilkhan, and Clan Widowmaker forces approached the city. As Karrige had hoped and planned, the blame fell on the shoulders of the Wolverines. The Ilkhan commanded Clan Snowraven to take the battle to the Wolverines on Cersei as he planned the ultimate punishment, the trial of Annihilation. Clan Snowraven's attempt to use a nuclear weapon of their own on the remaining Wolverine forces backfired horribly when the nuclear-equipped aerospace fighter was shot down by the Bismarck, a mothballed warship reclaimed by Wolverine's Sar Khan Franklin Hallis. The activated nuclear weapon detonated in an airburst over the Snowraven's capital of Derra Dun. This too would be blamed on Clan Wolverine. The Wolverine forces on Stranomecti were hard-pressed until Hallis commandeered McKenna's Pride and performed an orbital bombardment on their enemies. He then proceeded to bombard the clan's halls of Widowmaker, Smoke Jaguar, Ghost Bear, Snowraven and Jade Falcon, as well as the Grand Council Hall itself. With McEvedy thought lost in the destruction of the Great Hope, Hallis was now in command of the remaining Wolverine units. Annihilation. On October 25, 2823, Ilkhan Nicholas Kerensky addressed every member of the clans, announcing the unprecedented trial of Annihilation against Clan Wolverine, detailing their many crimes against the clans. All Clan Wolverine warriors would be killed. All other Clan Wolverine castes would be chemically sterilized and absorbed into other clans. No quarter would be given. The other clans were ordered to assemble a grand fleet to destroy the remaining Wolverines before they could return to the Inner Sphere. Meanwhile, Khan Franklin Hallis was leading the Wolverines from the SLS Michigan, the Clan Wolverine flagship. He'd split the Wolverine fleet in an attempt to increase their chance of survival, the other group being led by Sar Khan Trish Eben. Operation Switchback was well underway. The Wolverines would attempt to hang back and allow the clan fleet to overshoot them and hopefully miss them completely. Unfortunately, things would not play out in this manner. The clan fleet discovered Hallis's group of Wolverines on June 27th, 2824, on a planet codenamed Barbados, where they'd grounded in need of supplies. Eben's group was out of position and hampered by jump drive failure, and so the naval battle was quite one-sided. Several ships did manage to escape, but on July 7th, 2824, the clans bid for the final ground battle. The outcome was a foregone conclusion, but the treachery of Widowmaker, Khan, Jace and Karrige was revealed by the Khan, and Franklin Hallis received the justice of slaying him before he was defeated by Star Colonel Ferris Ward. The rest of the Wolverine forces present were destroyed. However, the second group under Sarkhan Eben survived, met up with several other Wolverine units, and fled clan space. Aftermath. The Khan would heavily alter clan history regarding these incidents. Karrige's perfidy would be washed away, though his genes would be removed from the breeding program. The accidental nuking of Derridun would be forever blamed on the Wolverines. Any reference to the Wolverines would be as the not-named clan. Nicholas's diaries, however, would remain uncensored and available to Clan Wolf, which would later provide Phelan Kell with a more balanced view than available through traditional sources. Ironically, Nicholas Kerensky would later utilise some of McEvidy's caste reforms to allow limited testing and movement between the castes. Though several absorptions would occur in clan history, a true trial of annihilation against an entire clan wouldn't be seen again until much later, though one might consider Smoke Jaguar's fate to be akin to that of an annihilation. Unconfirmed fate. On January 22, 2824, the Wolf Lawmaster presented a census of the Wolverines' population and equipment to the Grand Council. Most of the Wolverine frontline troops were accounted for, but many of the second-line warriors and civilians seemed to be missing, along with the majority of the equipment from the disputed Brian Cash. Operation Switchback, while not completely successful, did allow military forces and civilians under Sarkhan Trish Eben to escape clan space. How many and their final disposition is not known. Inter-clan rivalry would also play a part in allowing some of the Wolverines to escape. Aggrieved that the Ghost Bear clan had been denied the honour of annihilating them when a small detachment of Wolverines attempted to take supplies from one of their stockpiles on Arcadia's small moons, a Ghost Bear patrol commanded by Star Captain Aemon refused to raise the alarm and allowed them to escape untouched. The bitter Aemon citing that as the Wolves had been given the honour of defeating them, that it was not up to the Bears to help them in this task. Aemon made a deathbed confession of these events years later, triggering an outraged response from the Wolves and leading to an intense and everlasting grudge between both clans. Viewing the shame of Aemon's decision as a stain upon the honour of every member of their clan from that point on, every Ghost Bear warrior swears a solemn oath that they hunt down any descendants of the not-named clan that may surface, neglecting all other concerns until the task is finished. Legacy. The Minnesota Tribe. In 2825, after Clan Wolverine's annihilation, a strange but highly skilled unit using SLDF tactics, painted in regular army colours and bearing the insignia of the North American state of Minnesota, entered Draconis Combine space from the deep periphery. Dubbed the Minnesota Tribe for their insignia and fleet of military and civilian ships travelling with them, the mystery unit attacked a series of Combine worlds, picking up supplies and personnel before disappearing as suddenly as they came, despite efforts of the Combine and Comstar to track them. In the wake of the clan invasion, the coincidental timing of the tribe's appearance in the year of the Wolverines' annihilation and their use of SLDF tactics, colours, and advanced battlemechs led many to believe the Minnesota tribe were the unaccounted survivors who fled clan space. The case was only reinforced after Comstar's public unveiling of much of its history in the wake of the schism, with the publication of a ROM report on the clothing worn by a Minnesota tribe mech warrior killed in the fighting on the planet Richmond. Piloting a pristine Lancelot, the warrior was clad in a more advanced version of the SLDF's full-body coolant suits, which displayed two patches. The Minnesota tribe's insignia, with the numbers 331 stitched into it, appeared to be a revised version of the insignia of the 331st Royal Battlemech Division, one of McEvidy's father's command. The other was a white Terran Wolverine with blooded fangs.